to Heroes and Droids, your guide to movies and TV shows about superheroes, sci-fi, Disney, and action. We'll get this right someday. From Marvel to DC to Star Wars to Star Trek, from James Bond to the Fast and Furious, we will review the theatrical films and streaming delights you care about most. Tonight we are reviewing, we're actually going into spoilers. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. For Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. We did a first impressions the night it came out, and then we kind of want to sit on it, just think about it, and wait for Chris. And then I'll get in here and just go over all the details we didn't want to say and spoil the last time. So this is spoiler heavy. It's just all spoilers. All right. So who's here with me? Let's find out. Up first is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore. How you doing, Chris?
May the force be with you.
Hey, the force be with you.
I'm doing wonderful. I'm glad we had to hold back so much when we did our first impression. Now I can just spoil everything and talk about all the geeky stuff that's in this episode.
Yeah, there's going to be, let's just say Boba Fett is going to get mentioned a lot tonight, along with others. But
yeah, and there's one possibly rumor thing I want to talk about too.
Ooh, I want to hear that. All right. Also joining us is podcaster, Rockstar, and international cosplay queen Vanessa Thompson. Vanessa, how you doing?
Came as our space mom.
Space mom. Space mom.
Season 2.
Space
Rocking
mom.
the bones.
All right.
I'm super excited to talk about this spoiler heavy.
Love it. I love it. Also joining us, of course, is Chris Slattery. He's the Slat Man. He's an expert on all things Star Wars and Disney. Wouldn't you say?
I don't know about expert, but I'll take a compliment when you give it to me.
Oh, it sounds like I haven't given you too many, so we'll go with that. All right, that might actually be true. All right.
Whoa.
Whoa, she says. All right, we're talking about, of course, The Mandalorian season 2, episode 1 called The Marshal. It aired October 30th. We won't go through all this again because we did it last time. We recommend you go back and watch that. Now, the three of us, Vanessa, Christopher, and myself, gave our first impressions there. The Slat Man was not with us that night. So before we get into the spoilers, I would like to get Slat Man's first impression. So go for it, sir.
It's great.
Can
we get onto the spoilers now?
Yeah, that's good. All right.
It's great.
That would be excellent on the box. Just, it's great. That's all you need. That's perfect. All right. We got to get into the spoilers. We got to get in about Boba Fett because our Mando is after other Mandalorians, and he's on the track, and he's led back to Tatooine because somebody knows that there's a Mandalorian there. Of course, it ends up not being a true Mandalorian. It is what is the guy's name? I've totally forgotten again. This is terrible.
Cobb Vanth.
Cobb Vanth.
Thank you. I'm going to say it's Timothy Oliphant, but that's the actor. So it's Cobb Vanth. Of course, he's from the books. And if I'm not mistaken, those books got kind of shelved as far as being canon, and this kind of brings it back off the shelf. It's a little altered, but not really, from what I understand. It's still Cobb Vanth. He still finds the armor on a Jawa tanker thing. What are those things called? The Java things. Why am I having such a brain farts?
Transport vehicle.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Sandcrawler. That's what I want.
Sandcrawler. Yeah.
Sandcrawler, and he bargains for it, and basically becomes the sheriff, and that's all part of it at the bones. And Timothy Oliphant owns that character. Of course, he's wearing Boba Fett's armor, even down to the dent. There's no denying it. And we get to see him fire off the rockets, which Chris, you mentioned last week that made you so happy. And it was kind of cool. It was like,
here's the thing. For those of us that are old enough to know what happened when they first released the Boba Fett character, the action figure, it was a choking hazard because it actually shot the little missile out his back. So they released a version where it couldn't shoot the little missile. So to actually see Boba Fett shoot his missile from his backpack, like I mentioned during our first impression, I clapped 3 times. That was the first clap. I was clapping because as someone that only got the crappy Boba Fett that wouldn't shoot the missile, being able to see Boba Fett actually shoot that missile wasn't just decorative in the movies. You could actually shoot, and he actually shot it 2 times out of Mando's armor.
Mm-hmm.
So that made my little kid inside of me that had a Boba Fett action figure. I still have it somewhere. I should have brought it for this podcast. I have it in my Darth Vader case from when I was a kid. That made me so freaking happy. You just don't know. And that was just one of 3 times I clapped by myself in my living room with no one around except myself to hear me clap. And maybe my next door neighbor in my townhome, maybe he's like, what is that idiot clapping about? He's living there by himself. But I was clapping.
I was sitting there clapping just like a man.
Like, what is that idiot clapping about? We need to someone call 911. He's gone crazy.
Well, of course, with the armor, it kind of brings back into canon that Boba Fett most likely survived the Sarlacc, right? The Sarlacc pit. There's even a reference to that, they've never seen a Sarlacc pit that was empty, and we have an empty Sarlacc pit here that's full of different
Well, they
creatures,
mentioned why it's empty because a Krayt dragon ate the Sarlacc.
Right.
So there we have an explanation for how he could have, because also Cobb, now you got me messing up his name. Cobb Vanth, when he flew out of the mouth, he survived the acid because he had on Boba Fett's armor.
Mando.
No, that was Mando that did it.
I mean, I'm sorry, Mando.
Yeah.
But he had
you're
on,
talking
the
about
Mando
Boba
type
Fett.
armor. Yeah. So that would be a reason. But yeah,
I think it's more than likely. I think we know that he is alive.
Well,
yeah. Well, with the little stinger, then.
We got to jump to the stinger. So the stinger shows Temuera Morrison turning around. He's got, he's got a couple of weapons. One of them is the little sticks that the Tusken Raiders have.
He has the Tusken Raider outfit on.
He does.
And there's one of the Tusken Raiders that's sitting off to the side that's listening to them when they're talking. So the rumor says that he was actually one of the Tusken Raiders during that scene when Cobb Vanth and Mando were talking.
No!
I've seen that online, and I totally buy it.
Because he has like the same weapons. Because I actually went through and looked at that scene again. He could easily blend in because they all wear like the same things. It's not like different people that wear different things. They look all the same. So with their masks and stuff, they're all hidden. So
well, it's also
that's wild.
So he could have been there the whole time.
You just have to learn the language, right? And of course, Mando knows it, right? So which is funny to hear him talk.
I know.
I like Timothy Oliphant. It was like, what'd he say? What did you just say to him? The same thing I'm going to say to you. But okay, so it's Stinger turns around. It's Temuera Morrison, of course, who played Jango Fett in the prequels, and of course he is the DNA for all the clones, including Boba Fett, who he would raise as his son, and who is the only clone that does not have the aging element of the clones, right? Because all the clones had the accelerated aging, so they could, be soldiers sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So there has been, debate about, is it actually Boba Fett? Is it a couple of the other surviving clones? But they're also saying that the other surviving clones would be much older because of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, Rex had a full-on gray beard in Return of the Jedi, and this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So
So let's touch on that real quick, Christopher. So I don't know if this was intended at the time or if it's just kind of brought back into it. It feels like the latter. But one of the troopers. Not troopers, but rebels, when they storm the Endor, right, has the beard, and they're saying that is Rex, right?
Yeah.
Which, hey, might as well, because that would be awesome. Sorry to interrupt you, Christopher. Go ahead. You forgot what you were saying. I interrupted to get all the way.
That was the end of my statement.
Oh no, Christopher G. Moore.
I thought I wasn't sure which Chris you're going with. I think that's the main thing when they were making the Clone Wars, is tying in that specific character as being that person. Now, I think the one thing that people are trying to figure out is like, because episode 5 of this season is directed by Dave Filoni, which most people think is that's going to be the episode where Ahsoka shows up.
That would
live
make
action
sense.
Ahsoka. So if that's the case, then maybe Rex might be with her, and I think that's what some people. But why would Rex be on Tatooine? So, if anything, maybe he might be playing. Tamara Morrison might be playing 2 different characters, but
which would make sense.
Yeah, but I think everybody's like, there's been a lot of people. Oh, how could it could be one of the clones? There's only a few clones that actually, survived or that turned on the Order 66 thing. But so yeah, I believe it's Boba Fett. I think that the main thing is just like, what exactly is he waiting for? What exactly he's going after? I'm sure he's been through so much that he's probably, because he was the sidekick to everything, maybe his mind has changed on being for the Empire or the bad guys, and maybe he's sort of like making up for a lot of the mistakes he made, even though he's supposed to be the best bounty hunter. He wasn't exactly the best bounty hunter.
Not on camera. Not on camera.
Yeah.
Now is he going to reclaim his armor? Now, didn't he reclaim it in the books from?
I think he did. Yeah.
Cobb,
but so
right?
I think that's the main thing is like, also it's like, I guess the main thing is, are they going to say that his armor is actually? I know they said his armor supposedly isn't Beskar, so I'm wondering if they're going to like confirm that that's not made from Beskar or something.
Mando certainly thought it was.
Or maybe it'd be one of those things where he actually gets to become a Mandalorian for reals, considering he's sort of like he's not really a real Mandalorian. So
right, because we never really knew if Jango Fett was Mandalorian or not, because there was a offhand remark from like one of the animated characters that said he wasn't.
Yeah, in Clone Wars they said he wasn't. So
right.
Yeah, he stole it off a Mandalorian, right?
Right. So it'll be interesting to see if he is Boba Fett, if he reclaims his armor, and if they fight side by side or against each other. I would like to see them fight side by side. You guys?
Yeah.
Although there's also the thing, because he doesn't like Jedi, because Jedi's killed his dad. What happens when he finds out the Baby Yoda has Force powers? Is he going to change his tune, or is he going to try to kill Baby Yoda?
Well, he knew what Yoda was, right? Didn't he? Did he see Yoda when he was young, or did they not cross paths? I wonder if he would recognize what it is.
That's a good question, because I don't think they never had any scenes together. But I'm wondering if it's things
I don't
he
remember.
knew of him.
Yeah, because I think I'm really pulling that back out of my head, but I think Yoda like arrived after all that chaos, right?
Yeah, and I don't remember any clone scenes from the Clone Wars show where Yoda and Boba were in the same room together.
Yeah. So he may never have
because he was on Dagobah after the whole Order 66 stuff, so he's there forever. So by that time, people would, and sort of like the newer films, people have forgotten about the whole Jedi legacy and stuff, and so I'm sure maybe he never really knew about him, especially after he got thrown into the Sarlacc pit, and just was on Tatooine for probably all that time.
What else you said there was? Okay, so that was the rumor you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other rumors or anything else you want to bring up?
There's just little things. I mean, it's funny how people have like looked at certain scenes. The scene where Cobb Vanth is in. There's a flashback to when he was in the bar, and they're seeing like the little hologram of the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
The I think is it Arabash or it's whatever the Star Wars language writing is. They deciphered it, and it's actually the the scroll from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. That's
Which I think
hilarious.
is really funny. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to see all the different little things from the different movies and stuff. And just everything from, Cobb Vanth, his little vehicle he's driving is basically part of, or the type of vehicle that Anakin was driving as the pod racer.
Yeah.
Or just all the aliens in like the fight scene, the fight club scene, all the aliens, a lot of them are based on different things from Return of the Jedi, like the Gamorrean guards. There's one of the
still can't fight.
Yeah, actually, the guy, one of the guys that's in the audience who's cheering him on, he's sort of like a variation of one of the characters that was singing dancing in the bar. He's actually the guy who drew the graffiti during the early graffiti scene when they're walking down that sort of urban landscape area. Which also, if you go through that, there's like
all kinds of stuff.
C-3PO. There's like all kinds of different. There's stormtroopers. There's Watto's specific alien. There's and by the way, during our first impression, you said that the thing that Cobb Vanth drank was blue milk. That's actually Spotchka. That's actually the same drink that what's her name from the first season drank, because it's made from the krill on that one planet that when the whole village is like taking those little krill or whatever out of the water, they make that specific drink out of that.
Oh, okay. I thought it was blue milk because
no, it's not. Well, they actually say Spotchka, and if you go back and see the first season when Mando meets up with, I can't remember her name. What's the female in the first season actress?
I think her real name is Carla something.
Yeah. Whatever her character is, she's
really going to do that? Come on, we got.
Yeah. Well, she's when he goes to that one place and she's drinking it and she says Spotchka, and that's the first time where that was actually mentioned. But it's actually made from the little krill things that they're like their krill farm or whatever that farm was.
You're talking about Cara Dune?
Cara.
Yeah.
Gina Carano.
Yeah, who'll show up again this season. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things like that. It's just funny how like they just combine all these different things from all. I mean, even I think it's R5D4, the robot that when he lands at Tatooine. That's the one with the bad motivator. But there's that whole thing. If you read the thing about like he's the real hero of the Star Wars trilogy.
Well, he blew his motivator.
He blew his motivator so that R2D2 would be picked. But it's kind of sad that he's just this old robot that is getting chastised for moving too fast or moving too slow.
Well, we got to see Pelimoto again, Amy Sedaris' character. Vanessa, you were happy about that.
Yes, I love her so much. She's so funny. And she's a great comedian, but two, she's just really great in this role. She's so sweet with her little droids that are just bouncing around. And their little interchange is something very sweet happens because, the droids are going up to do their little job and clean his ship and, do whatever repairs they have to do. And she's like, no, he doesn't like droids. And he tells them to go in. And she's like, oh, you like droids now. And it reminds me, it throws me back to last season because he was saved by a droid, and it just like melted my heart to have that kind of little throwback to showing that the way he's changed his mind and that sweet interchange or exchange that they had when he took his helmet off so that he could help him. It's so sweet to have that little thing that takes you back to that sweet memory that, brings the good feelings into this episode. Yeah. I just really love that. And I was really shocked that he didn't leave the child with her again. And I'm wondering if it's because now he's sequestered, if he's got to have the child with him all the time, because he left him with her before, right? In the last season.
He did.
When he went off to do some stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Not going to happen this time, man. You're going to get
this. Yeah, you gotta get the child in the back of the bike. He's so cute.
Also, like her little comment about, if it replicates or divides.
I wrote that down. If this thing ever divides or buds, I'd gladly pay you for one.
So
cute.
All right, so we're talking about let's circle back around to Boba Fett's armor again, because there's another nod to Return of the Jedi. Is there not, Slatman, when Mando hits the back of the armor, so it fires off the rocket and sends him on his merry way. Unwilling.
Oh yeah. It took a minute, but yeah, no, I get where you're going with that.
Well, actually, when you see that flashback to when you said Cobb Vanth, he bought like the Mando armor. If you look at it, there's like a piece of it that seemed to be like fixed on the back of it where he was hit the first time.
Oh, really?
So I think it's hilarious that that seems to be. That seems not be a very good jetpack if you can just hit it like that and it goes crazy. So Doc, what did you think about all the Jaws references with the Krayt Dragon scene?
Oh, with that.
I mean, when they shoot things just like they shot barrels.
Yeah.
There's a part where they drop one of the things, just like they drop the thing, and the guy gets on him, and like that could explode. I mean.
Yeah, and our hero goes down the gullet. So
yeah.
Smile,
you. It would have been so good if he would have just said, "Smile, you son of a bitch."
Oh man,
you're not gonna see that on Disney Plus unless you replace it. Smile, you smile, you Bantha Poodoo. Maybe he could say that.
You know what was really great too? Right before he sends Vanth off, he says something to the effect of, "Watch the kid." Now, we know he knows he's going to survive, but there's still an off chance that he won't. And it just shows the level of trust that they've built in this short amount of time together, that if something were to go horribly wrong, he knows that that's someone he can trust with his precious cargo.
Yeah. Are we going to see Cobb Vanth again?
Definitely.
I hope so, yeah.
I would think so.
We need to, right? Because he's a great character, and Timothy Olyphant really... I mean, when their little standoff in the bar was so Clint Eastwood. Oh my God.
Well, that's the cool thing about this episode. We talked a little bit in the impression thing is that you can see that this episode is very influenced by Westerns.
Especially Westerns, yeah.
Oh yeah, because when they first go into that bar, actually the bartender is played by, what is his name? W.O. Brown, who actually played a bartender in Deadwood.
Yeah.
Who Timothy Olyphant played a character in Deadwood as well. He plays a good sort of like Western type character. There's a spittoon, which is one part where Baby Yoda goes into the spittoon. There's that whole scene where like there's a standoff where they even get the close up of him going to his gun.
Yeah.
And then like the very ending, like we mentioned previously, the aspect ratio goes to like the old CinemaScope type, wide, Vista type things that you normally see in Westerns. So you can see that this is definitely a love letter to those type of things. I mean, even like the part where he rides into town and everybody's looking, that's straight
I know. You could have heard like
how many times do we see like, Clint Eastwood like riding into town, all the people are coming out. Who's this this stranger? It's supposedly one of the strangers is actually there's one guy that's carrying something, actually, supposedly I think he's the voice of Darth Maul or something in the Clone Wars. Wow. But yeah, it's you have that scene. I mean, you have the Tusken Raiders are basically the Native Americans that the town people have to sort of like come together as one to fight the other menace.
How beautifully did they juxtapose that, because they made them almost more Persian, right? And that theme that plays when they're coming into the camp, when they're on the banthas, and that music is playing and it's winding through. I'm like, this is what we were saying, an epic, right? This is Cleopatra in that moment where they're coming down, and then you see them later winding through the desert, and this music is playing, and you really get a sense of their people, right? Their culture mixing with the people from the camp. I just thought that is so much bigger than a series, right? it's so grand, something you'd see on a big screen somewhere, you know.
Well, I mean, it has that Lawrence of Arabia, definitely
Yes.
has like, but then in like the whole ending where he's like, you see him in the dust, and it's almost like a rotting off for the distance type things that you see in any kind of traditional Western.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have that, and then as always, it kind of mixes different things with it, because you have like the fight scene, which, by the way, if you're fighting the Mandalorian, I think the last thing you want to do is punch him with your
No kidding.
Because there's several parts where he's just like bouncing off the people and they're getting hurt.
Are you talking
like
about the cold open, or
they're in the bar and like they're fighting. There's the game, and like he hits him, his helmet hits the guy behind him, knocks him back. So basically, Mando's just standing there letting him. You're not doing anything to me.
Great scene. And you know, that made me write down just how beautifully they combine practical effects and CGI, and the way they wed the two together. The Cyclops, I was getting so close to the TV. I'm like, is that CGI or is that practical effects? What is that? It's so beautifully seamless with the way that that they've created that character. It was so cool to see.
And that character was based on one of the people in the bar scene from New Hope. He's like one of the characters.
Yeah.
And I just love how they take these, even the bartender at the town, he's based off of one of the people that are on the Jabba's barge that are holding.
He's the same species as Hondo from the animated series, like a whole pirate species, basically.
Yeah.
So,
but I will say, I mean, I don't know what the cost of making the show is. I know it helps to have those big screens and stuff, but the whole stuff involving the Krayt Dragon is better than in some stuff I see in movies and theaters. I mean, that whole scene where it's like, coming out of this is definitely makes Tremors seem like made on a shoestring budget, which is
Marvel level, right?
Yeah, because especially the part I was kind of wild when he comes out of the top of that freaking mountain. I was like, oh my god,
didn't that look so cool?
This looked like a freaking Godzilla movie all of a sudden. And then when it has the ability to just, instead of shoot fire, it shoots like acid.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, this makes Game of Thrones seem like Game of Nothing. But I loved the Krayt Dragon thing, and then fighting it. I just the level of the effects and stuff where I was just like floored from seeing it, because I was like, wow, this is on a. And another time when I clapped is when he flew out of the mouth and the thing landed behind him. Like, I was like, yeah.
Didn't turn around or anything.
Yeah. It's kind of reminded me of that the last Clone Wars where Ahsoka like comes out of that fire and just lands. That's a cinematic moment. But I was like, damn, and the weapon he uses is the same weapon he used in the Star Wars Holiday Special, which is a nice callback as well.
Yeah,
shake your head, Doc.
Awesome.
At least they turn something bad into something good, right?
There you go. No, this episode's incredible, and it would be it'd be great to see it on the big screen, because this felt cinematic, very much cinematic. Yeah. All right. So where is this going next? I want us to kind of make some predictions. I know I'm kind of throwing you all under the bus here, but what's going to happen? I'm going to go back to what I was saying, just to kind of lead you guys in, is that I want to see Boba Fett either. I want to see him and Mando team up. I want to see them I want to see them like they're going to fight, but they can't because they have to team up to fight. Maybe Darth Gideon or something, or some other creature or something. But Is he too big a character to become part of the show in that respect? Or is he going to be strung along, for episodes where he's in the background, and then season 3 will take care of him?
I mean, I guess I guess one of the thing that they can really do with this is like they've done with a lot of things is even with the first season, they took a lot of things that people had a displeasure for or didn't like, and they made it more palatable. The Clone Wars kind of did that with some of the elements of the prequels. It's kind of added value to the prequels for a lot of people because it kind of filled in some of the spaces. And the thing is, with Boba Fett, even though there's a lot of people that love that character, it's really he has such a huge love by people, but he really hasn't done much. I mean, he's just mainly been this side character that people like. Oh, that's a cool character, and then it made more out of him than what he really was. And I think for this, I almost feel like there's got to be some kind of arc where he either redeems himself, redeems some of the hate he has for his life or how things turned out. I mean, I think for me, it'd be kind of cool if maybe if he's not a Mandalorian, maybe somewhere towards the end of the season, he becomes a Mandalorian and he goes off and does his own thing. Yeah. I think if we have that kind of arc where he gets his own Beskar armor and gets some kind of insignia or something and becomes a Mandalorian, I think that would be a perfect arc for him. As to if he works with, I mean, I know
you have to if that happened, yeah.
Well, I mean, they definitely have to deal with what's his name and his little dark saber. So I don't know.
Darth Gideon, yes.
So I'm wondering if maybe they may have to team up to fight him. So I think he's definitely got a. I mean, I definitely don't want him to be a sidekick to Gideon. I don't think he really needs to do what he did in the first films and stuff, where he's just. I think we just have to turn him more into a badass than what he's done in the cinematic universe. When it comes to just all it takes is just hitting him, a blind person to hit him in the back of his jetpack, and he's done.
Well, they might have been force attuned. We don't know but in the books and in the comics, he's had a much more promising career. Slapman in season 1. When Fennec Shand was left there, presumably dead, maybe dying, and the person approaches with the spurs, right? And we said, "Oh, that's Boba Fett." Looks like it is at this point. Wouldn't you agree, Slapman? And if so, is she alive? Is she dead? And is she going to return?
I think she's dead because if you look closely, I think one of the weapons that he has on his back at the very end is her rifle.
Oh snap. I now have to go look. Is that what you were thinking, Chris? Christopher G. Moore?
Yeah, I mean, that was always a rumor. And also, like, when he walks off towards the camera, you can hear his spurs again. So.
Yes.
But at the same time, when I can't remember his name, but Timothy Oliphant's character walks around, he also has those same spurs. So.
Oh, does he? So maybe, but he doesn't have the weapon though.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll find out. What do you think, Vanessa? Are we going to find out?
Yeah, like Chris is saying, Chris Slapman, since he has the weapon. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's dead, but I think it's somehow she died. She either is dead or she died. And I think we will find out about that. Because I do kind of think they're going to end up being a little buddy at some point. I don't know for how long. I kind of get the feeling he won't last very long. He might die, in some sort of battle or redeeming himself in some way, I don't foresee him going past season 2 as a prediction.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see him easily leaving, helping out in whatever way, and going on his own way.
Yeah.
And then they could say, "Hey, we're going to do Boba Fett the series."
Or here's the Boba Fett comic, or here's a book, a canon book. Or
I think people would get pissed if they killed him off, considering he's already sort of killed off once.
He survived one death.
I know. They've got to. I mean, certainly they, like we said earlier, they've got to feel that they need to validate that character, right?
Yeah.
To give him to make him a badass, to give him purpose, and because he has so many people love the character. If not for the, it's more for the, for the comics, the books, and the toys than it is for in the movies. Because in the movies, he's nothing more than a background character, really. But that's what makes Star Wars cool, is that all the background characters kind of have that potential to be much larger than they are in these particular scenes. I hope we get to see him again. I have a feeling that I don't think they would bring it this far not to. But I don't think we're going to get a lot of them. I think we're going to follow what the same thing they did in season 1, right? We're going to meet a character. Last 2 episodes, they're going to gather and fight again, which I kind of am a little nervous about, because that's it's going to be Darth Gideon again, right? Or Grand Moff Gideon, and. We did that already, and I don't know.
I don't know. I think they're pretty good. And the thing about this show is it's very wholesome, and it kind of just chucked cynicism out the window, right? It's just very pure, and it tells a really great story, and it just feels so Star Warsy, that I don't think they would go back and do the same thing. I don't think Favreau would. I think the movies would go back into it, but I don't think Favreau would go back. And if we do get that, I think it's going to escalate to something else.
Speaking of escalating, I have a theory as to where this is all going. I think eventually we're going to have to go back to Mandalore, and there's going to have to be a fight as to who's actually the rightful ruler of Mandalore, because by old laws, like I guess in certain canon, but mostly in legends, whoever wields the Darksaber is the ruler of Mandalore.
Ooh.
Could that be Boba Fett?
Could that turn into a character we haven't met yet?
Ooh.
What do they call the guy that established it? The great Mandalore or something?
You sound like.
And I know, the Great and Wonderful Oz, but she says it to him whenever she's talking. She's about to make his armor.
The Great One.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think
pay attention to the Mandalorian behind the curtain.
Well, I think a lot of this season is him searching out for more Mandalorians in the universe. So I think it might ultimately have to end on Mandalore.
But
at some point. And
I also think that at this point in history, Mandalore is occupied by the Empire. So
the remnants of it, right? Yeah.
It could be liberate Mandalore.
Well, that could be the Magnificent Seven thing, where he's got to bring all these different people together to.
Yeah. I see that season.
In order
it feels like season 3 to me.
In order to figure out where Luke Skywalker is, so they can deliver Baby Yoda to the Winter Soldier.
Yes,
that's what I'm wondering, because that's the rumor is he's going to play Luke Skywalker at some point. So
that would be
that would be a great shocking stinger for the end of season 2.
Wouldn't it though?
Holy crap!
And hopefully they'll follow it up better than the beginning of The Last Jedi with Luke.
Be quiet.
So Yoda is thousands of years old, right?
900 years.
900 years old. So that means we're gonna have Baby Yoda for a long time, right?
Well,
where was he in Rise of Skywalker, though?
We don't know. Maybe he was there and we didn't know
it. Strong with the Force, you are. Ray.
Well, he still wouldn't be much bigger, would he?
Palpatine.
Yeah. Actually, no. Another 30 some years,
evil.
He'd probably still be a baby.
Well, but then is that although
he needs like 300 years to be.
Let's think about this. Would he actually have the same speech pattern as Yoda does? Because maybe Yoda learned that speech pattern being around his culture. So being around Mando and them, he'll just be talking very breathy. My name is Yoda. or something.
I am the child.
My name is Yoda.
Yoda, my name is.
The pale green rider.
One last question before we wrap this up, because we got to wrap this up. Isn't there a Mandalorian in the animated series, Slatman?
There's a lot.
Which one in particular? Because one of them was a part of the crew, right?
There's a lot.
Name one. Save me here. Come on.
There's a rumor that Sabine could be returning in this season because at the end, spoilers for a show that's not related to Mandalorian. At the very end of Rebels, Sabine and Ahsoka depart together to go and try to find Ezra, who is lost in time and space, quite literally. So it's rumored that Sabine was the girl that we saw in the trailer.
Ooh.
And Sabine is gave up the Darksaber and gave up being ruler of the rightful ruler of Mandalore to go on the adventure. So,
Was she the one that was in the last episode of Clone Wars?
No, that was Bo-Katan.
Okay.
Who is also rumored to be in this season.
Is she a Mandalorian?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So he's going to find some.
Hopefully.
And then eventually we've got to, are we going to find our way back to more Yoda childs?
I don't think so.
A whole pod of the childs.
Yeah,
unless they're all clones.
When they're all back.
Papa Palp's clones.
Well, there could be a colony of them, the natural,
like a big vat of them, like he had with Snoke's.
Yeah, because you never see him get wet after midnight.
And the babysitter could be a gun. But it got quiet. Come on. I actually I would love to see, I know they did a little bit in the Clone Wars, but I would love to see an actual gun who's a serious gun that's not more live action. That's not Goofy McGooferson.
That's a character they need to, or a race that they need to.
Although Bill Burr does make a joke about.
He does.
Last season.
Let's wrap this up. This has been great talking about this in a spoilery way. This was a great episode. We're looking forward to the next one coming out Friday. What is that? Is it the 5th, 6th? The 6th, right? November 6th?
Yes.
Okay. I can't wait to see it. I know nothing about it at this moment. I haven't read. I've been avoiding any spoilers. They don't have like a teaser trailer like they do with other shows. It's just going to drop that morning early, and it's going to be really hard to go to work and not watch it. And maybe that won't happen. I will go to work and I will watch it. Who knows?
Christopher G. Moore's alarm's going to go off at 3 a.m. so we can watch it right when it drops.
That's right.
Who told you? Who told you that?
Oh, man. So,
information.
So I hope you enjoyed us doing this spoilery one, and let us know if you like this format. Do you want to see us do first reactions and then deep dive spoilers? We've done that on other shows that when we covered them. I think I'm trying to remember what show we did. Used to do that. I think it was with American Horror Story. We would do like a first reaction and come back later and get into the spoilers and stuff. But maybe we could do that this season, because it's kind of fun to talk about, but when you do it the day of, you don't really feel like ruining it and spoiling it. Even though I think everybody that's going to listen to this probably has already watched it by the time they're listening to anything we have to say. But we would like your feedback. So if you're watching it, please let us know down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button so other people can find us, and the bell if you want to be reminded so you can hear the next one. Man, Slatman, so glad to have you back. Vanessa, thank you for joining. Christopher, you are the Star Wars fan among Star Wars fans, so thank you for being here. Wow, a lot of fun.
We're speechless because I guess the scary part is, this first episode is so great. They've raised the bar. Let's hope they stay on that same level or bigger.
I'm sure they will.
I mean, it's bound to dip a little at some point. It's got to, right? It's got to have a lull because they've got to kind of breathe. But I don't know. This makes me more hopeful than nervous, to be honest.
Oh, I loved all the episodes of last season. So I think every episode is going to be amazing. And because we really don't know where it's going.
I have no idea.
You don't know. And that was the cool thing about the first season. This isn't like something like the new sequels or anything. This isn't something that they've have a normal, I mean, other than knowing what happened the first season, we really don't know where it's going from there. It's not like, oh, we expect this person to turn into Darth Vader, or we know this is going to happen or that's going to happen. We don't know. So that's the cool part of it. And I think when you have such great people at the helm that are passionate about storytelling and are passionate about Star Wars and telling the right type of story instead of just doing something for the money, I think, anything can happen. I think that's the cool part of it. As a Star Wars fan, this excites me.
Yeah, and Jon Favreau did a great job for the first time directing an episode. He's been, of course, shepherding it all along, and there's no doubt he would do a great job. But
yeah, you can tell he directed Iron Man. Lots of rocket pack action in this one.
Yeah.
All right, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
I hit the wrong button.